Hello and welcome to SAFC Fan TV. How's everybody getting on? So, as it's getting a little bit towards Christmas, we thought we'd do a few videos and have a little bit of fun. So, joining me tonight, yes, a nice dance there, Mike. I like it. Joining us tonight, we've got Mike. Mike, evening, mate. How are you doing? Should I say?
Not bad. Excited to trawl through history with these little videos that we're doing. So it's great. Yeah, it's something different.
It could be a bit of a nightmare when we see some of these players we've got written down here. It'd be like a horror film. Also joining us tonight, we've got Conrad. Conrad, evening. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I think we were saying earlier on, this is one of those ones where we actually made our teams and went, "Oh, I'm happy with that," and then you went, "Really shouldn't be happy with that." Like, how easy was it? I've missed people out that I've forgotten even played for us, and I'm a bit like, "Oh, like I think you sent one," and I was like, "Yeah, he should have been in my team." Clearly, that's an oversight. We've had that many. It's harder to do, so, but it should be fun. You know, you've got to look back and laugh sometimes, especially now that we're on the up, shall we say?
Yes, well, that's it. It's looking forward, not looking back. But like we say, we're going to pick our worst 11. So, and when we've been doing the research, DME, there has been some shockers in there that even I'd thought about. That you could have made about 5 teams with some of the players that I've seen. But
I think we did say just before we did say we can't pick more than 2 from the same season, and it was basically just to stop us all from picking everyone from the 17-18 championship relegation season of like just the whole 25. There you go, all of them.
Every one of them.
I'm just looking now. I wasn't briefed on that rule, I don't think, but I think I'm covered.
We'll let you go if you do. The old one might be more interesting than our one, but I'll put some context into my years. That's what I've done.
Right. So then we'll get cracking. So we'll start off with the goalkeeper then. So who wants to go first with their worst goalkeeper in the worst 11?
Please, me.
Go on, Conrad. You can go first.
I've gone for Kelvin Davis, which is 05-06 season, partly because he came in with such a hype. Obviously, he was really good for Ipswich in that season before, and everyone was always like, he's the keeper that's going to make the step up to the Premier League. He's going to be absolutely unbelievable for Sunderland. And he was shit. He was really bad. Like the Portsmouth, where he got lobbed from the halfway line and there was fans on the pitch shouting at him. But just because of how, but they dropped him for Ben Anik, who hadn't even played a game for us, I don't think, at one point, just because it was like, you need to stop playing. And then I think Anik got injured and they sort of put him back in. And I think we paid a couple mil for him, which at the time probably still wasn't a lot of money. But for Bob Murray's Sunderland, it was a lot of money. And it felt like he made us worse, especially because of where we'd come from with Mark Poom and Thomas Myra, both playing for us the season before. Yeah. So Kelvin Davis.
Was he a Peter Reid signing?
Yeah. No, was he?
Davis? No, it was a Mick McCarthy. We got promoted.
That's right. Mick McCarthy. Yeah. That's a good one to start off with. That is a shocker. Mike, go on.
Mine's really short because it's the same pick. I will say he was followed it was a battle between him and Steele for me, Jason Steele.
Yeah, Steele was my close one.
But that's more recent and more painful. So Kelvin Davis was mine as well. And I think it was just a downward spiral of his career after that. And I'm surprised when I was looking at the stats that he got 33 appearances for us.
He played most of that season. Yeah.
At that point, you could have stuck gloves on a defender, and it would have been a better option. So, but same as Conrad. So you just had all the stats, so that lets me off for that one.
If you look at Jason Steele is now, couldn't that not just been the shit that was playing in front of him?
Yeah, he's playing the Europa League for Brighton, isn't he? But what was it? Unhonourable mentions. You've got is it Michael Ingham?
Camp.
He was, Camp.
Wayne needs to do us first.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to list them all off. It might be Wayne's.
Mine is actually Lee Camp. He was.
There you go.
He was absolute dog shit.
3 foot tall, Lee Camp.
I know we had him on loan, but I think he played 12.
It's even worse then if he managed to get the worst goalkeeper. He wasn't even ours properly.
And he was a Chris Coleman signing, I believe. Was he a Coleman signing? Mm-hmm. So he played 12 games and we only won one of them. And I think every game he played, he made a mistake.
Yeah.
absolutely short. He must be the shortest goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life.
We used to say that you used to watch him, and he was always stood on his tiptoes, and you were a bit like, that can't be right. Like I know Pickford's short, but like he makes up for it in other ways. But I remember just going like, you're really small for a keeper, and you're also not backing it up with any attribute. Like nothing is a redeeming factor.
In fact, are you even a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I doubtful.
Right, so there's the goalkeeper ticked off the right. So we'll go back.
The comments have to pick or suggest a better one than that. Then I guess
that's it. So in the comments, if you can pick a better one, stick it in the comment below. Or if you want to put your full team in there as well, you can do. Right back then, Conrad. Who's your worst right back?
Well, because I was doing that sort of the rule of two, I just went for someone that I thought he came in, and I remember everyone thinking, "Oh right, well, is it competition?" Marcus Angeleri.
Oh dear me, there's a blasphemous
dressed like a pirate, played like 12 games, and just kept knocking the ball out of play for no reason whatsoever. And it was just a lot of nothing. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing actually he did wrong. It was just he never did anything.
No,
it was like right, but could have been like, was it Shaluska that came in for Gus Poyet's lot, and it just I went with Angeleri just because it was 2010 to 2011. I was trying to keep years free is what I was trying to do.
That is a bad one. Like, but Mike, have you got a one that can top that?
Right back.
Yeah.
Donald Love.
Yes, he could have quite easily been in the team.
Yeah, 27 appearances in like 2-3 years. But he was one of those where he was hyped because he came from United, and you know, going to be a wonder kid, all this amazing, blah blah blah, and just no.
And
I think it's because he felt worse because we just followed Bardsley, and like Bardsley, we all absolutely thought was class.
Yeah, good one. Well, mine is going back to 2014, 2015. Anthony Revilliere. Riviere was signed in 2014.
He did win a derby game playing for us.
He did
win at St James's Park.
But that was only one of 2 games we won when he played.
It's a pretty big one to win, though.
I mean, if you're going to win, that's the one you want. But I think we signed him in Napoli. He played 16 games and then he retired after he left us.
Did he? Christ, I don't remember any of them. 16 games, God.
16 games, like I say, only won 2 of them, and come from Napoli. You think, but he must be decent. Like, but
I did want to put Billy Jones in there. I never rated him, but he had he did all right. But I remember he was another one that was just like, you're not Phil Bardsley, and I don't like it. Phil Bardsley was amazing at right back.
Adam Matthews was the one and all that I tinkered with and all. I went for Revilliere. Centre back number 1 then, Conrad.
I'm just going to do them as a pair because they might both make me feel sick, which is Dillaboji, 16-17. Only Sunderland could think Chelsea signed him for 3 million last season. They loaned him out to a club that then got relegated. So let's tag on another 5 million. Yeah. He's obviously worth it. And he was just horrific. And Mark Wilson, 17-18 season. I remember I think it was because I was more let down. I think we got him in the Championship and I thought, that's a solid centre-back we've got there. Like he's at the age that where we bought O'Shea and it was like, maybe he'll be, safe pair of hands. And he just really wasn't. It was god-awful. So they both make me sick, so I'm done.
That's it. That is two horrific ones there. Mike, can you top them?
I can't pronounce it, but I can. So Kyriakos.
Yeah, Kyriakos. Yeah.
Yes.
When you said you couldn't pronounce it, I was like, it's got to be Kyriakos.
Yeah. Do you know what? He's one of those players when he came in and he looked like a big presence and he just didn't perform to what he looked like he was good. So it was
came from Liverpool, didn't he, on loan?
Yeah,
was it?
Exactly. Yeah. And what a disappointment. To be fair. And my other one was Louvens. So
Glenn Louvens. He started off he played like the first 5-6 games for us, and I think even Jack Ross went, no.
11 appearances altogether. 11 appearances.
He would have played in the Papa Johns as well, a fair few of them, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's that's technically my 2, but I think I've messed up and done 3 centre backs instead of a left back. So my
we'll probably play them at left back anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm playing him at left back for today anyway, so we'll leave him till
he's left-footed, so we'll give you that.
That's good enough. That's good enough. So my 2, I've gone the same as you, Conrad, for Gilabodji, same one. Like you say, horrendous. 9.5 million quid we paid. There was 9.5 million we paid for him. Probably the worst attitude of a footballer I've ever seen. I think we've spoken about before. You can just imagine that team talk, can you, with Coleman at the front, trying to give him a team talk for motivation. Grayson,
yeah, talking to him about positive mental attitude. You just like,
yeah, whatever.
Like, what are you doing, mate?
And the second one for me is Sebastian Coates, 14-15, signed him from Liverpool. Came with a
Did we have him twice?
Yeah, yes.
We had him on loan and then went back again.
Yep.
Yeah.
He played 26 games in total, and another one came with a big reputation and was absolute shite. And I think
he was also this one that, like, he should have worked, because then he went to, like, Sporting Lisbon and played UEFA Cup Champions League, and you're sitting there going, why didn't you work? What's wrong?
So that's my 2 centre-half. Left back, Conrad?
Fairly recent, Callum McFadzean. I really don't think I've ever seen a worse left back in my life. I was hamstrung by, I was trying to think of seasons for us, and I was a bit like, obviously Michael Gray was a lot of my seasons, and I wasn't going to pick him. George McCartney played a lot of time. I didn't think he was awful. He just wasn't a standard. Yeah, Danny Rose, you had Marcus Alonso. I was like, well, these are good. I like them. Danny Collins, I was like, well, these. So I was proper sort of hamstrung by who I could sort of pick. I did think Brandon Galloway, from 17-18, but again, I did the 2 players thing. So I was like, no, McFadzean from 2021.
Good one, good shout. He was shocking, like Mike.
Well, like I say, I did 3 centre backs, so I've messed that up a bit. But Greg Halford was the 3rd.
Yeah.
I just for a bit of clarity to people watching, I had about a 10-minute prep time before the filming, so I've got like 3,500 kids to deal with before we started. So you're getting 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 2 strikers.
That's good enough for us. I've gone the same. I've gone Callum McFadzean as well, because he was absolute dog shit. We actually signed. I think he got released from Plymouth, and under what planet you thought, actually, he might be a good fit for us, so we'll get him on a free transfer when Plymouth released him.
Could we have also put in there technically Declan John, because we signed him and he never played a game for us? Lawrence de Bock.
Lawrence de Bock's another one. There was him, and I also thought of that one we had from Southampton, that Jake Vokins, that he played something like 3 games.
Oh, God, yeah.
And he was horrendous as well. So there was.
Have you noticed they were all within the last, 5 years, though, then?
Yeah. So there's a horrendous back 4 there, do you mean?
I think just before I go on, I think you 2 have done 4-4-2, but I've gone 4-3-3, because that's how I make this so much worse. So just before, when you get into, I won't do wingers. If you want to do your right winger, and then I'll just do all centre mids with you, and then you'll do your left.
Just do all midfielders, because then my positioning can go out the window.
Okay, yeah, true. They can play wherever.
To be fair, we could have had 2 teams just of shit strikers, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right, go on then, right winger, then I'm going to go. Well, go on, you, Conrad, you pick your midfielder. No, you've got a midfielder.
Okay, well, I've got 3 midfielders. I feel harsh on one of them, and this is the one that I probably should have swapped for someone that you'll mention. So, obviously, Jack Rodwell, get in. Just attitude, money, just refusing to play. Just shit when he played. Don't need to say anymore. Tommy Miller for the same season as Kelvin Davis, because he came in with a big reputation of scoring long-range goals, attacking midfielder, and he was just anything but that. And then I feel harsh, but I've got to say Colin Healy, just because he was always injured, and it was a bad injury, I know, and it was a bit like, so you're talking value for money and play time. He was there for 3 years for us and played, I think I looked up 10 games.
Yeah.
And it's just like I was scraping the barrel for years, right? So I went 04-05 Colin Healy, but I feel harsh on him. I feel harsh.
No, but you see, it's not a bad shout actually. Rodwell, another one of them. When you thought when we signed him, do you mean what a player we've signed based on what he'd done before? But honest, what happened there? Mike?
Yeah.
On my right, I've got Mavrias.
Mavrias?
Yeah, forgot about him.
4 appearances in 3 years.
Did he score in the FA Cup? Am I making that up? Or the League Cup? I don't know. I might be making that up.
I'm not sure.
Or he got an assist or someone like you.
Goals.
Fair enough. Come on, what are your centre mids?
So my centre mids are Jack Rodwell. Of course, he must be captain of this team.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. Well, the C stands for another word, but yeah.
And Bradley Dack is the.
Oh, wow, jumping in early.
Yeah.
How many games he played? 8.
That should be how many he plays. Full stop. So as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't do a worse team without mentioning him because I've got to back myself up on that one. So, and again, I've not got a guy on the left. We're just winging it with whoever we like, and Darren Gibson's on the left today. So there you go.
He might have played there a few times anyway.
Yeah, well, more so for obviously we know he was like off the ball as well as.
Well, he was always drunk, so he probably thought it was centre mid on the left side.
Correct.
That's harsh. I apologise.
Harsh but true. But yeah, so
that's your 4, right? So I've gone on the right hand side. I've gone Stephen Pienaar, or Stephen Penis, as I like to call him at the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely shite.
The stat you said to me about Stephen Pienaar.
So Stephen Pienaar played 15 games, no assists. In them 15 games, 6 yellow cards, 1 red card. What a player.
Yeah, impressive. Unbelievable.
So what you're saying, he was a good enforcer, is what you're saying?
No, he wasn't, because we got relegated. He was a shit enforcer.
Another one, I think he came from Everton at a time with a big reputation. Shotman.
He was just David Moyes' mate for a payday. That was all
David Moyes. In 2 centre mids, I've gone for Didier Ndong. Similar to Gilabodji, attitude was absolutely shocking. 13 million quid, absolute disgrace.
And we wouldn't sign Mvia for 5.
I think where he is now, I think he's just been sacked from where he is now again for the same type of thing. So, and his centre midfield partner, I've gone for Jeff Whitley.
Yeah, I've never rated Whitley, but
he came from Man City. He actually played 71 games, but again, he was just shocking. Like, just had nothing about him. So that's in my left midfielder, I've gone for Kevin Kilban. This might be a bit harsh, but
Zinedine Kilban.
120 games, 8 goals and 2 assists for a left winger. That's not very good.
Okay, yeah. When you say that's yeah. I just remembering him like gliding through with that left-footed curler, and yeah.
And he just reminds me of a little bit like Duncan Watmore, but worse. Head down, run, open the door, and he runs out the stadium. He's that type of player. So,
run, Kilban, run.
That feels like it should be wrong, but I'm trying to think of any goal he scored now, and I can only remember one.
I remember us before we signed him. I think he played for West Brom, and he absolutely tortured us. And thought, oh, we're a decent player there. But when he signed, then he went to Everton after that.
And he did all right there, didn't he? He did all right at Wigan, didn't he, as well?
All right, Wigan.
I'm more surprised Rodwell's not made your team.
I know.
I think he has more people from that season.
I have.
He was there for 5 seasons, Rodwell.
So I could have put him for a different season, but no, and I knew used to might have probably picked him anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. Against everyone, I've put like the years they played and appearances and stuff like that. Rodwell just says shithouse next to it. So.
Rodwell just says no chance, mate.
When you saw him on the Netflix thing, didn't you? When he was like, you try to ask him to terminate his contract. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh yeah, I remember that they were working on a deal or something, weren't they? And he just refused to go. And it was
if he'd have gone, we could have signed somebody else. He's like, nah, I'm stopping here.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit on the bench. Right, forwards then. Go on, Conrad. You've got 3 forwards.
I've got 3 forwards, but again, I'm going to go through a list of like unhonourable mentions, which could have been like Danny Graham, either spell, Charlie Wyke's first 2 seasons with us, John Stead, Andy Gray, Anthony Vitalik. Like, all of these players didn't make my list. Like, that's like, this is the caliber of shit that I have in my team. So I'm going to start oldest first, and I feel harsh on him because I like the guy, but it just didn't work, which is Altidore. It didn't work. I like you, but it should have worked, but you were terrible.
Bearing in mind, he scored 50-odd goals in a season and a half in Holland before he signed for us.
And then he went to the MLS and was Panenkering in penalties the week after he left us. And you're like, fuck me. Like, what's going on there? James Vaughan, 17-18. So Mark Wilson and James Vaughan make my list from that championship relegation. Yeah. He had a terrible attitude. He just looked like a knobhead all the time. Always cupping his ears to us, his fans. Yeah, when he didn't even score. It was somebody else on our team. And he's there like, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're on our team. And then has to be Will Grigg for the money that we splashed on him, for the return we got, for the lack of attitude and lack of motivation that we got. It's got to be up there with it's got to be up there with Rodwell and Dong in terms of waste of money at that level. It was near £3-4 million at League One, probably on really good wages. And he got 5 goals in the first bit, and then he got 3 the year afterwards, and then we farmed him out on loan for 2 seasons because we were just like, well, you're just not doing it. So,
he never scored goals then when he went on loan either.
No, Kevin Kyle was another one I could have had. So Kevin that was Kyle. Just yeah. So Vaughan, Altidore, and Grigg. Imagine that front three. You know, like the Sky Sports graphic where they've got them all coming out like stood with their arms out. Imagine them 3. You'd just be like, do you remember we played Borough away in that season, and they just put the team up, and you're just going, ugh. Like, that's how I'd feel looking at this team. Just, oh God. Didn't when he scored one of his only 2 goals, James Vaughan, wasn't Cattermore like saying to the crowd, "You should be backing him, get behind him"? No, that was Fletcher.
Oh, was it Fletcher?
Who also could have made this list. Yeah.
Excuse me. Go on, right? There are some horrors there. Mike.
I'm not going to go through the honourable mentions. We haven't got enough time for all that. I will say that Vaughan was on my list when but then I changed him from midfielder to get the 4-4-2. But yeah, he got dropped off my list, and I don't think Will Grigg. I think he doesn't make my list because he was never a good player. He got signed. He got signed off a World Cup chant. That's the only reason he got signed, and it was terrible management of the club that overpaid for him. So that guy was smart. He took the money and he said, "You want to pay me this much? I'll do it." Anyway,
could have scored though for that. Could have tried.
So my first one, 86 international caps, 33 goals at international level. Awesome signing. Milton Nunes.
Get in.
Jack Shields' shirt. He's got Nunes.
Was the wrong Milton Nunes, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we've got one appearance. Just never quite not there at all.
Ironically, in that game that he played, Kevin Kilbane scored.
He did. I remember
one of his 6 goals for us.
When we signed Nunes and they paraded him before the game, and he came on the pitch like 4'1" or something. He was like, really?
And Lee Camp was still shorter than him.
So Nunes. Maybe that's what we missed. Maybe it should have been Kilbane and Nunes played more often together, and they'd have both been all right. But and my second one has already been mentioned was Altidore. For the very same reason, I thought I like a strong, powerful attacker. Like we've got one that's just come through and he looks strong, and it's that same sort of fear that he's going to go the same way. But I expected so much more of him. And I think, was it Chelsea he scored against?
Yeah.
And so then obviously your expectations are even higher
and then smashed it in.
Yeah. And then after that, just nothing. It just never quite worked out. So Altidore and Nunes are my 2 up front.
And another one of the curse of the centre forward, isn't it? Rather class before they came here.
Altidore's one at West Ham at home where he was pretty much under the crossbar and he just stepped over the ball and lost it. It's like, I think everyone knew at that moment it was like December. Everyone went, "That's it. You're gone in January. There's no way we're even keeping you."
So my first one is Danny Graham for both spells.
Which stint?
2016 and 2021 because he was shit both times. I think he only scored 1 goal, didn't he? Did he get 1 goal in 2 spells?
It flicked off his under side of his leg and bounced in.
And he celebrated as though he'd scored in the World Cup finals, as though he'd scored a worldie, didn't he? When it was like, wasn't even his. And the second spell, he was about 5 stone overweight. So,
he had a good game away at Charlton early on in the season, I think. He played like really well and we battered them like 12 shots on goal, which didn't score.
It's a bit like
Pretty
now,
much a bit like now.
And my second one of a few years ago, 2001, is Lillian Lons. He was absolutely shocking. 1 goal in 12 games. And at the time, in 2001, we paid something like £3.5 million for him. Niall Quinn signed him to replace... Peter Reid signed him to replace Niall Quinn.
Yeah. I went to a sort of talk with Michael Gray, Phillips and Reid, and they mentioned him, and they were like, he was unbelievable in training. The things he could do was absolutely magic for Sunderland, but yet when you put him on the pitch, he just shit himself and couldn't do any of it. Like, Torre Andre Flo has to be in there as well.
Was there was some one-off years ago now.
He scored 6.
You might not remember Thomas Hauser was at the same time as Gary Dean. He was like 6'5", but jumped 5'9". Like he was absolutely shocking.
We've had some bad players over the years. Like if
you actually had a complete list of players and went through them all, you'd probably get another 4 or 5 teams who are absolutely shocking.
I know, and there'll be some in there that people are like, oh, he did this, he did that for a good memory, and I'd be interested to see what people's sort of other teams were, like in the comments, if they could put who they would have. Or
a simple Google search tells you how bad it is, because if you search like, top 10 worst Sunderland players, you don't get any lists. But if you search top 50, there's loads of them.
Loads,
top 50, wow.
One of them almost made my list was Julian Lescott. I mean, like mind, he played 1 game. You know, he was crap when he was in Greece. And we you know, some of the managers.
You got Skoko for Poyet. There's probably others. I never liked Andy Walsh, but he probably did all right. Do you know?
Andy Greer, centre forward, another one who was absolute garbage. I mean,
Undai,
yeah. Allardyce,
he was like the one signing of Allardyce that didn't work out. Like,
I mean, you know, he's iconic, but you know, likes of Leowie, was he that good? Was he good when I got the chance? But on the pitch,
I don't know. I wasn't back then. Well,
I think
before my time.
A lot of older players you get based on a reputation and a name, don't you? And you just expect
Nicholas Medina.
Yeah.
We've had some bad ones, haven't we?
I can't wait to get your worst team in the comments. And honestly,
do. I'll be interested to see this. Or even just your worst players, like just people we've forgotten. Just, you know what I mean? There's that, like Mike said, the fact that you bring up like what's the 10 worst signings in Sunderland's history, and it goes, did you mean 50? Like it says it all, really. Like,
we found another 500 you may like.
Yeah. We've only found 2 signings you've made you did like.
Jake Clark Salter.
Yeah,
he was the same time as Brendan Galloway, wasn't he?
Actually, Callum McManaman. The other one, there was Tyus Browning, just anyone that entire squad, 17-18 season, just all of them.
Yeah,
it's worse when a player comes in to fill shoes of a really good player. I think, like you mentioned, like Poom was our keeper beforehand, and when you've got a player that comes in and that's the caliber you're expecting, it's even worse.
Yeah, it's even worse when they can't live up to it, and then they're worse than that.
Yeah. Or you splash out a fortune on a Manchester City player, and he never quite does anything.
We'll have to do this again, but do like best, but maybe do episodes per player or something like that, and see if we can sort of build it over time. See if we agree.
We can do like a best 11, then we can do the players who almost made it, who were almost a good player, but never quite got there.
Here's a question, just trying to recap what your teams were. Are any of them academy players?
Ooh.
Are they all signings? Because when I was looking through, most of the players we've generated are good players.
All signings.
Yeah, no, none of them are academy players for me.
All signings.
Yeah, So it just shows our recruitment's poor, not our academies.
Exactly.
Although I nearly put John Oster in there, so I would have really debunked your rule then if I'd thrown him in.
He was terrible. Also, another one that almost got on my list was Adnan Januzaj, but again, he was in that 16-17 season, wasn't he? So another.
There was those two 16-17 and 17-18 was just, you could have. There you go, both of them.
I liked Januzaj. He didn't have enough quality around him to shine. I liked him.
He found his level when he scored a winner against Scunthorpe. Like, that was for us. That was when I remember thinking, "Wow, you found your level here, Scunthorpe at home."
Anyway, on that note, I think we should wrap up. So, Conrad, do you want to say your goodbyes till the next time?
Yep. See you later, everyone. Please put your team or players down in the comments, because I'd be really interested to hear all the ones we've likely forgotten.
Yeah. Mike?
Well, it's made me feel a lot better about the current team, and I was the only one that had one from this current team, so it's actually brought a positive out that maybe it's not as bad as we think at the moment.
It's like therapy. You've sort of worked on your feelings and you've come through it.
It could be worse luck here.
Yeah.
Please to us out. Please to us. So, right, until the next one, like I say, get your comments in, get your worst players and get your worst teams in, and we'll have a bit of fun and we'll read them out on the next show. But until the next time, we'll see you later. Ta-ra.
See ya.